And it's hard to be better than the average catcher because teams aren't dumb anymore. Like, about just falling in love with the guy with the big arm. Teams don't let you catch if you're not a good receiver. Teams don't let you catch if you're not a good blocker.
Ben Clemens joining us from FanGraphs right now. Smart writer. Check out his work. Check out also what he brings to the table on socials. We'll post some of these clips on Twitter for you to give him a follow. Ben, great to have you on. And yeah, we're going to do two things here. We'll get to free agency second, but let's start with the Gold Glove Award. So thanks for the time. And we have things we like. We have things we don't like. So we wanted to get your take first on what you saw from the winners and also what you think about the process.
Yeah, so I voted for the Fielding Bible Awards this year, which are not exactly a competitor, but just like a different defensive award. I think the voting class being different and the fact that we vote for just an overall winner for all of baseball is different. As an example, like Alex Bregman should buy Matt Chapman like a gift basket or something because the top 5 third basemen in baseball were all in the NL this year defensively. So the Fielding Bible, Bregman didn't even sniff the top 5. But I think he's a deserving Gold Glove winner. So that's one of the main differences. But yeah, I spent a long time like looking over these things to vote for it. And so I have some strong thoughts.
Bring them.
I want to hear them because I do too. I mean, first of all, I'm going to start with National League left field. Nothing against Ian Happ, but he was below average by far in defense, but he wins the Gold Glove above others. Like I just brought up, Jackson Churio, right, was better in right field than he was left field. But then his buddy Sal Frelick had the same, outs above average. And he won it, and Jackson Churio didn't get anything, but Ian Happ was negative. I don't know. There's just a lot of questions I have about – I mean, we could go to the American League, too, with Varsho. Varsho was better in left field than he was center field, and Stephen Kwan won it, but Varsho won it in center. It's like, what are we doing?
I was pretty surprised. I'll start with Happ. So there's a bunch of different defensive systems, and honestly, like, I don't know which one's best. I measured all of them to see how good they are, and, like, if you just look at one, you're going to get fooled because they're not perfect. Like, they all screw up. They all look at the wrong data point or they overweight one thing or another, and there's just not enough info. Outs above average didn't like Happ. Every other system thought he was great, and he's been pretty great for years. I think that this is definitely kind of a legacy, like Ian Happ is a good defender and we know it kind of award in left field, where there wasn't a super strong candidate in the NL. I would have given it to Churio. I'm with you. I would have given it to Churio. I understand your like Frelick versus Churio thing. I thought Frelick just like really looked the part and Churio looked better in left field. Yeah, defensive metrics can say what they want to say. In the sample that Churio played in right, I just don't think it was enough to know for sure. And I thought Frelick played a bunch and looked really good. So I was pretty confident that he got it. I would have given Brewers both corner outfields, though. I mean, they have 3 center fielders. It's not surprising that they have great corner outfielders. But I'm with you that I don't think Happ should have gotten this, but I think it's actually closer than it looks if you just looked at outs above average. For the AL outfield, Stephen Kwan got it because he's a good player who's won a Gold Glove before, right? Like I had 2 different American League left fielders ahead of him, and I would have had Varsho if he was eligible in left field for Fielding Bible. They didn't really make him eligible in left because he played more innings in center, and so he was definitely the best left fielder in baseball this year, no question. He's the best center fielder in baseball. Kwan, I think that's a reputation win. Both Colton Cowser and Riley Green, I thought deserved it over them. I don't think Kwan was bad. Like, I think he was a plus left fielder. I just think there's a bunch of great left fielders in the AL this year. Like, all 3 of those guys would be at home in center. And so that made it a tough ballot where it's like, it's not a bad choice. It's just not the one I would have made.
Sure. Are we looking too much into the finalists? Because we look at the top 3, and I'm like, Will Smith won a World Series. He shouldn't have been in the top 3 for catchers. Juan Soto is going to make $1 trillion. He shouldn't be in the top 3. Are we looking too much into that top 3, or is that kind of where the broken part of the voting system, kind of boils down?
Yeah, I think the top 3 thing is it's like a made-for-TV kind of thing, and I do not think it accurately reflects the way that this works. Like, I think a lot of these positions, there's just like a clear number 1 and like, whatever, you can put some other guys after them, but they do the voting first, right? And then they retroactively say, here's the top 3. It's not like there's 3 finalists and we don't know who's won. I'm not a big fan of this. I mean, I get why they do it. Like, the Heisman Trophy does it, right? Like a lot of awards do this because it builds hype to have finalists. But yeah, I think the top 3 is really overrated, and I kind of wait and save my outrage for when the wrong person wins the award. Juan Soto. like you said, you're gonna get $1 billion or whatever. I think I have him down for $550 million to foreshadow the next part of this conversation. But oh my god, like that! Come on. I even wrote because I wrote a bunch about this, that like no amount of defensive metrics could convince me Juan Soto's good in the outfield, and he's a Gold Glove finalist. It's like,
oh yes. And this has been a thing for a while. I mean, there's catchers who used to win, and I want to shift this over to catching. Catchers who used to win it because they could just throw, and every manager's like, oh man, this guy throws so well. Like he must be the Gold Glove, and every other part of their game is just boot, just terrible. Can't catch, can't block. Don't call it good game, but man, that guy can throw. Gold Glove, Gold Glove, Gold Glove. Did they get the catchers right this year?
I think that was the best position. They were my 1-2. I think neither was close. I think that Patrick Bailey was clearly the best catcher overall. Like you said, like he throws pretty well, but he does all the other stuff maybe better. I just thought he was a slam dunk number 1. I had Cal Raleigh second on my ballot. Again, I thought he was the best defensive catcher in the AL. And I think they could have been trapped, like you said. Freddie Fermin, I mean, you want to talk about a guy who can throw? He is the best run game stopper in baseball right now. And I think he will be for a while. It is outrageous to watch him. He caught more than half the runners who tried to steal on him. With these rules.
It was a joke. He is unbelievable. But I'm glad you said that because I couldn't agree more about Bailey and about Cal Raleigh. Can you explain how far ahead they are? And is there even a chance that, to me, nobody should win the Platinum Glove over Patrick Bailey for what he did this year. But can you explain how far ahead in a run saving or a win value projection that they are over the number 3 in baseball?
Yeah. So Bailey is by far out in front for me. And I think Raleigh, he's 3-4 runs. I blended a bunch of metrics together to try to get rid of the sample issues. And he's 3-4 runs better than Jake Rogers, who also very good. Jake Rogers does everything well. I'm a big fan of the guy. And you can think of that as I don't know, somewhere around half a win. That's not a very satisfying way to think about it. But if you think about it as just him, and that's also, by the way, 16, 17 runs better than your average catcher. So multiple wins better than the average catcher. Jake Rogers is just also really good. Patrick Bailey's another 10 runs ahead of these guys. He's just in another stratosphere. And it's hard to be better than the average catcher because teams aren't dumb anymore. About just falling in love with the guy with the big arm. Teams don't let you catch if you're not a good receiver. Teams don't let you catch if you're not a good blocker. If you're subtracting runs defensively, and you're a good hitter, you're a DH. Or you're a left fielder, if you're MJ Melendez, right? The Royals are just no, we can't do this. And teams just aren't letting you be a catcher if you're not good at that stuff anymore. And even then, Bailey's this far above everyone else. I voted for him for Defensive Player of the Year. That's the Platinum Glove equivalent for Fielding Bible. And I'm with you. I'm shocked he didn't win. Dalton Varsho won. I think that's wrong. I would put Bailey, and I want to talk to the people who didn't.
This episode is brought to you by Manscaped, the global leader in men's lifestyle and grooming. If you're looking for that fresh barbershop shave at home, introducing Manscaped's newest innovation, the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver. Head over to manscaped.com and join the over 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by using code FOUL20 for 20% off plus free shipping.
I've had so many bad razors in my past, and you only get one face. Make it count with the latest tech in face electric shavers. I'm talking Flex Adjust technology, which makes sure the blades and pivoting head adapt to the unique contours of your face and neck to hit all the angles.
There's a travel lock so you don't hear buzzing in your bag from an accidental on-button situation. And the Chairman Pro also features an LED spotlight to help you see every detail.
Get the Chairman Pro today and experience a shave that is smooth as a baby's butt. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code FOUL20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code FOUL20 at manscaped.com. You say Cal Raleigh is worse than Patrick Bailey. Okay. They threw about the same. Now, Cal Raleigh caught over 200 more innings, almost 300 more innings than Patrick Bailey did this year. Patrick Bailey had more pass balls and almost the same number of wild pitches. Do we just devalue that? Because if I had a year with 9 pass balls, my ass would have been in AAA, right? Unless I was catching Tim Wakefield every time, right? So I just don't. I mean, I guess the value for him is his pitch framing, but then there's also a lot of balls going to the backstop there. So, yeah. I mean, again, I don't know how it all works, but for me, I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, Cal Raleigh caught every day, was never injured. I mean, he literally caught every day this year because they didn't have another catcher. So I just don't know how, and this is just kind of getting super into the week here, but I feel like Raleigh deserves more than Bailey.
Yeah, so I'd say the thing that works here in Bailey's favor is that if you just measure how much it matters when guys advance on pass balls and wild pitches, like look how much they scored in that inning after versus before, like look at similar situations, it's not huge. So we counted it, StatCast counted, and we just report on our site, kind of like blocks above average based what you'd expect from pitch locations and runners on base versus how they actually did. And Bailey was below average blocking. And like you said, Raleigh was above average blocking, but not by a ton. In fact, Raleigh was like right around Bailey because his pitchers just have better command. They're just bouncing fewer things. He's not catching Blake Snell, basically. It's a little more complicated than that, but he's catching a lot fewer things in the dirt. Those Mariners pitchers are just like impeccable command. But I think the real difference is that like it's just hard to be that bad of a blocker. We had the worst blocker in baseball this year, pretty close between Francisco Alvarez and Shea Langoliers, and they were like 5 runs below average, which is like awful. I mean, that's abysmal. Imagine losing 5 runs just with blocks. That's like 20 pass balls or something crazy. The best catcher was Danny Jansen. He's like 4 above average, and that's just not a big gap, right? Like the number of strikes that you can pile up and balls you can avoid from receiving is just like really high in relation to that. And if you were a truly bad blocker, like if you put me out there, if you put like a D2 catcher out there or something, and they were abysmal, yeah, like then you could add up real value. But the thing is that all of these guys are just so good now, and the raw number that they're allowing is just pretty low. I think that is, it's one of these things where like, yes, there's 3 like key catcher skills that we can do a good job of quantifying. Game calling, I mean, I would love to be able to. I try to watch and figure it out, and I just can't. Like, I don't know. I believe that Bailey's a good game caller, and I believe that Raleigh's a good game caller. And I'm a huge Cardinals fan growing up, so obviously I believe in the magic of game calling from Yachty. But when we actually measure the measurable stuff, blocking is like, it's just hard to be a real standout one way or the other. Throwing you can be now, particularly with the the increased running game. And then receiving, like the best 2 catchers were Bailey and Raleigh at receiving, and so they're the best 2 overall. I think that that's really just what teams have made a calculus of saying, and I believe they're right. Hey, receiving is the most important skill because it matters on so many pitches. Like you said, 8 pass balls, that's pretty bad, but it's only 8. Like, how many pitches did Bailey catch? 3,200, it looks like. It's just, even though each individual thing matters less, it just accumulates to more because there's more chances to add a little bit. I'm with you, though, that like that's definitely the weakest part of Bailey's game is his blocking. I think that, again, it was exacerbated by catching Snell. Snell is just a nightmare for catchers, even though he's obviously very good.
All right, so here's the plan, Ben. Since we're low on time, we'll skip the free agent money talk. We'll see if we can get you back, and we'll tell everyone also to read your article on FanGraphs because I want to be able to give that time, and we're on TV, so we're hitting a commercial soon. But I did want to get to one more piece of the puzzle with the Gold Glove Awards. I don't think we really double-clicked much on second base, but Bryce Terang looked really good, right, at second base for the Brewers. There are other names, especially on outs above average, who ranked significantly higher. Otto Lopez leading the pack, Nico Horner, Tyro Estrada. I know you have other metrics you use as well. What did you think about that position?
I would have voted for Terang. I think they did a good job. I think that he's one of those guys where if he didn't pass the eye test, I'd be a little more skeptical, but almost every other defensive metric, particularly defensive runs saved, which I think is pretty good at infield defenders. They do a good job of understanding like where these guys start, where they have to finish, and how hard it is to make throws at various spots. do a lot of video scouting to get that right. He was the best second baseman by that. I would have been just fine, like, if I don't know, like maybe Ketel Marte got it. I don't think there was an Otto Lopez again, pretty good guy, but I would have voted for Terang. I thought that was the right pick, and when I watched him play, I was like, this guy's a Gold Glover. My aggregate metrics agreed with that. That makes me feel good. I thought Jimenez and Terang were the best 2 second basemen by a good sight this year. I'm pleased that they got the awards.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. So this was good. I mean, a lot of people were asking us over the past week or so about the process and where it was right, where it was wrong. It definitely got better once we got to the winners. Some of the finalists were a little crazy. So, that's why we were like, this is important. I think a lot of people are calling for this. We can say whatever we want. We're not getting paid by the award, so we're just going to have a good time. So this was great.
Exactly.
Ben, thank you. Yeah, appreciate the time. Everyone check out Ben's work in FanGraphs. He wrote about this. Wrote all about his free agent predictions. Yeah, we'd love to have you back. We'll invite you back. We're going to put our free agent money predictions together.
You are. I don't have time for that.
You don't want to do yours?
No. I just laugh at Kratz's. They're way more fun that way.
Fine. Kratz, me, AJ will just make fun of us. Ben already has his on FanGraphs. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate the time, man. We'll catch you again soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.